and we are gonna attempt to get to the beach here.
Might be shark teeth.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully we don't run into any unexpected guests here as we wade through the water. Lots of standing water, as you saw on our drive across the island. We saw some fish that are displaced. This is creepy. I'm like expecting to see a gator like swim by. I don't feel like we're on Sanibel right now. I feel like we're in like a jungle. We've got like canopy overhead, and we've got, I don't know, really murky water. Something just touched my leg. Anyway, this is common for tropical storms, that we have a ton of rain, woo, and we get flooding, and a lot of animals get displaced because there's just fresh water everywhere. And so like the fish will just be swimming, or the gators or the turtles or the snakes, and they end up in the road, or they end up in somebody's yard or a parking lot because there's just water everywhere. So always be cautious about wildlife, and they're not intentionally there because they want to be. They just get a little disoriented. A big palm tree down here, and so we're gonna check out this area. So if you haven't been to one of the areas, there's 7 of them. They're called area 1 through 7. On the west end, you take West Gulf Drive all the way down, and you have to have a resident sticker or be staying somewhere at this end to be able to park. But you can also park at Algiers, Tarpon, or Bowman's Beach, and it's all the same basic location. So here we are. I can hear the waves crashing. There's a little view. And so usually here there's quite a bit of beach, and you can see already right here the rack line came up really high. A little conch there, a little cockle. I don't really see too much in all that stuff, but let's see what we have. Lots of big waves. We've got some shell, good rack line of shells here. So like I said, you know, I always tell people, you know, you have to check out the different beaches, guys. Like, we didn't see a whole lot going on at Lighthouse, but you know, the waves are still bringing stuff in. The storm is still out there. A big piece of driftwood kind of right here in the water. Over the next couple days we'll determine, you know, where all this stuff is going to go. So there's definitely a lot more action here as far as shells go. Look at these pretty scallops. The West End is generally a great place anyway to find really pretty scallops if you're a scallop person. Here's an auger, but like already there's less beach trash, so like less seaweed and stuff like that, but already I can tell you there's way more shells. So it just depends on the waves and the winds and where everything is rolling. So this looks to be a better location at the moment for shelling. There's some more pretty scallops, and it's really pretty syrup here. Here, well, lots of pretty scallops, ultra scallops. shells to look through here. Here's a big piece of a giant horse conch. That black is the operculum. So we usually find the skin of the shell, so we usually find them black or very dark, and then we clean them up with some bleach. Here's another really pretty buttercup. So many more shells here on the west end. So that's why you'll hear people say, you know, I went to Sanibel and I didn't find shells. Well, what beach did you go to? Because sometimes you gotta walk, sometimes you gotta drive. There's 10 miles of beaches here on Sanibel. See what, oh my gosh, look, husband found a really pretty flat. Oh my gosh, it's like perfect. Wow, that is so pretty. Look at the zigzag. The zigzag scallops, flat scallops. Hard to find whole. Beautiful orange. We love the orange scallops. So really nice scallop selection. Here's a really focus. Really big auger right here. But you know, you have to take advantage of being on such a big island. And the island is a very unique shape. It's kind of like a crescent moon shape. So the way that it is shaped, the winds kind of curve around. This little calico clam too. And we get shell buildup at both the east end, which is Lighthouse Point, and the west end, which is Turner Beach Line Pass, and then this is kind of West Gulf that is kind of in the middle, and we get a lot of really cool stuff here too. So, oh, look at this ginormous turkey wing. Whoa, mondo size. Holy cow, that's a big one. So lots of really fun shells here. To be found. Here's a really nice olive. Nice shiny olive. Nice tip there. So many scallops. Oh my gosh. Pick up a million scallops. Juvenile conch here. Oh, he's broken. Lots and lots of shells. It's broken. I love those bright orange scallops. For whatever reason, I feel like they're fragile too. feel like you find a lot of broken orange scallops. I don't know why. Here's a really pretty white scallop with some pink on it. I feel like those are always really pretty. There's a little tulip hiding. Is it broken? It's broken. Bringing in some shells and uncovering some shells. Little juvenile conch. Love these pink with the orange kind of sunburst through there. So pretty. Look at all of the shells. I'm so excited. I can stay here all day. And this is just like a little tiny section. Oh, here's another little fighting conch here. That. Super cute. Look at all of the shells, you guys. Oh my gosh. All the way down. What a nice rack line. Look at these ginormous waves. Just going to be bringing in some awesome stuff. Over the next few days. So if you are not on the island now but are planning on coming down, this week should be fabulous for shelling. And if you're here now, come out to the beach, man. It's great. It's another pretty pink scallop. Oh, here's a little fun piece of coral. You don't find a whole lot of coral on Sanibel. I mean, every now and then. Usually at the west end, like Blind Pass, you'll find a bit more than other areas of the island. Pretty light pink scallop. They're here. When you find a piece, you know that they're here. So exciting to see all these awesome shells in these rack lines. It makes me so happy. It's really bright. Orange. Love that. There's a little seraph hiding. Ooh, and this one's really cool. Here's another little piece of a true. And that would have been pretty. This one's really cool. Look at this gray with the orange kind of outline. comes the high tide. Ooh, here's a cone. A little Florida cone. See it right here? Beautiful little Florida cone. Perfect. Another little calico. This one will be really cleaned up nice. This will be fun when we get that little barnacle off. I love the ones with these orange stripes. I love them. So pretty. Tell I'm like calico obsessed. I mean scallop obsessed. I just looked at the calico. Scallop obsessed, but here is a calico. Really pretty pattern on that too. And all tongue tied today. Shark eye. And it's crazy, like this rack line is so close to all the vegetation. I mean, look how high the waves are. They're right up here. Woo! Bring me some more shells. Pile them on in here. Oh, this is a great pile right here. Need like a little calico. Little claw so I can sit here and dig through some of these. Look at them all. So fun. Ooh, look at this one. Wow. How gorgeous is the scallop, you guys? That's beautiful. Oh, and here's a flat, it's a piece. Again, like my husband finds specials. I just find like little pieces like this. This is what I usually find, like the little pieces. He finds the big, gorgeous, whole, awesome zigzags. I just find the little fragments. Fragments of the scallops. I know some of you do too. You feel me. We find the pieces of the true tulips and the pieces of the glass scallops. Oh my, that's okay. I still collect the pieces though. Pieces of the alphabet cones, doesn't matter. I still keep them. I think they're fun. Have like my little jar of fragments. I know some of you collect the pieces like this, the pieces of the orange too. You know, I mean that's like so pretty, you know? Like, I mean, how can you like not want to keep it? There's just certain shells that even if it's broken, you gotta keep it anyway, you know? I get it. I understand. This little auger right here. Almost the season for snowman noses, so if you're a crafter, those augers come in handy for sure. I mean, there's so many shells I'm not picking up. I mean, carditas, there's kitten paws, there's slipper shells or Indian boats, whatever you prefer. Arc shells are great. I mean, I'm gonna have to come out here one day and specifically look for some of those more common shells that I don't always pick up, but I need to. I usually just come out and have a day that I just pick up those. So like here, there's not a whole lot, right? Like this is just a section, like we went from all those shells right here. And you can see how some of them are being washed back out. And there's a little right there. That's like a little shell hole. So you can see like, see if I can manage to not get knocked over by these waves. How like there's nothing here and then like all of a sudden there's like shells here. So like this rock same thing. There's like a break right here. You don't see anything right here, right? Oh my gosh. And you can see it too. Like if you stand here a minute, you don't see anything here, but you'll see like shells right there. You see them? Look, you see them? Shells. Look at all the shells. Lots of shells. I just have to be careful because I will get like knocked on my butt. You can kind of see down the beach too, like where the shells are washing up. So you'll see like there's shells right here, and then there won't be anything right there, and then there'll be shells up there. And that's why I tell you guys, like, you know, if you don't see shells like in front of your condo or your hotel or whatever, like you might have to walk. You might have to go walk a little ways. And it might be a lot of way, like it might be a mile down the beach, but you're gonna find pockets of these shells. And all of a sudden you're gonna be like, whoa, there's like all these shells here. And it's just the way that it works. It's just, there won't be any shells and then all of a sudden there'll be shells. And you've gotta find these pockets of where they wash up, and then once you find it, you'll like be in shell heaven. Look at this little orange right here. Cute. But don't think that just because you stay at, let's just say Sundial, because Sundial is a really popular like resort that people stay at. Just because you're at Sundial and you go out in front of your, you know, room and you don't see a lot of shells, like you've got to go walk or you've got to get in your car and you've got to drive to another beach because there might just not be shells there. You know what I mean? You might have to go and seek out another location. Or there might be like a ton of shells there and you might like hit the jackpot and say, oh my gosh, there's like a ton of shells in front of our condo at Sundial, you know? You just don't know. But I can tell you that there are shells on this island. You just have to find them. It's kind of like fishing. If you go to a fishing spot and you're not catching anything, the fish just aren't there that day. You're gonna have to go and find another area or another location. Look how pretty this one is. Really pretty orange one. It's orange. It doesn't look orange right now, but hold on. Here we go. It's orange. So pretty. Another little serif. I just love all these scallops, especially like the ones that have the really vibrant pattern on them. I feel like everybody has like a favorite scallop color or pattern that they like find, that they love to find. Ooh, guys, look! What do we have here? We have a piece of sea glass. So a lot of people say they can never find sea glass on Sanibel. Here is a piece of sea glass. It's not like perfect, but it is frosted. It's not perfectly rounded, but it is very nicely frosted, and it is a really nice size piece. So for those of you who might not know what sea glass is glass, usually from bottles, old, it can be from bottles, it can be from insulators, it can be from any type of glass that was broken and then it's been out to sea, and the tumbling from the waves against the sand, and then the salt water causes the glass to lose its shine and become really frosted, and then the edges become really smooth. Now these edges aren't super rounded and smooth, but they're pretty rounded and smooth. And so then it becomes sea glass, and it's kind of like a gem. It's kind of like a really fun find. If you find just a piece of broken glass, that's called garbage, and we take that and we throw that away. But sea glass is really special, and it's really fun. This piece is really thin, so it's a newer glass. It's not as old. So if you were a sea glasser up north, you know the big chunky pieces that we find. And sometimes you can find those pieces down here on Sanibel too. They're just not really common. Florida is not in a very old state, and it was underwater long ago, so it wasn't a place where there were a lot of ports from back in the day, like you find up in the northern states. So we don't have a lot of sea glass, but we do find some. So always keep your eye out, because I promise you there is sea glass here. It's just not as common as other places. Nice little kitten paw there. It's always fun to find a piece of sea glass. That's always a nice treat. So fun. I just love all of these shells. Look at all these kitten paws too. So a lot of you are a fan of kitten paws. They make lots of great craft shells. I mean, you can take like a styrofoam Christmas tree or a picture frame and cover it in kitten paws. It makes just fabulous crafting shells. So, and they're abundant and they're super common, and they come in all different like shades of orange and patterns and sizes. So they're always a fun shell to find. I mean, I think too, people come out and they look for the tulips and the whelks and the olives and kind of the more traditional larger shells, so to speak. The horse conchs and such, and you don't always find those. But there are shells here. There's tons of shells. You just have to decide what kind of shells you're looking for. I mean, I could pick up scallops literally all day, and if you're looking for arcs, coquinas, slipper shells, kitten paws, you know, I mean, you can pick them up to your heart's content. So, oh my gosh, look how fun. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back the way that we came, and we're going to see what is the other direction. So we are going to head back up west, and I will check back in with you when I get up that way. Okay, so we walked away, and if you guys can see, like, there was not a lot of shells at all. I don't know how far I walked. Maybe like 200 yards maybe. And then all of a sudden there started to become a little bit more shells, and then boom, like shells. So that just goes to show you guys that, you know, you might have to walk, and you might have to walk like the length of a football field or two, you know. But now there's like a ton of shells. It's like there weren't any, and now there's like piles of shells. So that's just an example for you guys. Oh my gosh, is this a baby tulip? You guys, I love baby tulips. If you guys are members of the Virtual Shelling Network, and you have been for a while, you guys know I'm obsessed with baby tulips. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay. I see this all the time where people are like, I went to Sanibel and there were no shells, but you have to go find them. I can't even explain it. You have to go look. Here's a piece of gold. Like, I promise you there are shells here. But you have to walk. And you might have to walk kind of far. And if you're not able to walk very far, you might have to go drive to a beach. you know, go drive and park and then go out and see what's there. Here's a piece of the true right there. So I know that they're here. Let's see what else we can find here. Oh, there's like so many shells. Look at them all. This is like, all of a sudden, there's just a ton of shells to look through. Nice big heart cockle right here. I love those. There's a really big, pretty pink scallop. Look at that. There's a big fighting conch buried. Buried in the sand. There's a piece of a tulip right there. And I'm just walking. I'm not even like getting down and like sifting through these shells and moving them around. I'm just seeing what I can see with my eyes as I walk. Here's a really cute little wall right here. In other words, I'm not putting a whole ton of effort, here's another well, into really uncovering anything. Another piece of a well there. Wow. Like, see, look at this. Like, there's a piece of a, well, okay, here we go. So here's a little calico. Here's a little well. There. But what I was gonna go for, oh, it's just a piece of conch there. I thought it was a big conch. You never know. Always gotta look and check. It's a piece of a tulip. Scallop. Oh, there's another big piece of a true. Trues are here, true tulips. I can feel it. Are we gonna find one? I don't know, but we found enough pieces. Here's a little pretty orange rough scallop right there. Another piece of sea glass. So this piece is really nice. Look at this one. Perfectly rounded, perfectly frosted. Beautiful. That's a really nice piece of sea glass. That's a beautiful piece. So the sea glass is here. Awesome. That's an awesome find. What else we got going on here? Look at this. Like, look at this pile right here we're coming up on. That's an awesome pile. And then we got a little tide pool, it looks like, too. So I'm excited to get up to that. Let's see. Here's a well. Here. There's a conch. There's a piece of a tulip. Oh, and here's another piece of a flat because I find all the fragments. I know, right? Oh, this is a little, really pretty little, this is like a little spiny oyster. Baby spiny oyster. What else we can find? So glad that we came down this way. And sometimes, you know, you pick a direction, right? You go out to the beach and you decide which direction you're gonna go. And sometimes you pick the wrong direction. You gotta try the other way. There's a concrete here. Off. Pretty conch. Look at all of these shells. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. There's a couple of apple mureaxes there. What else? Here's a little whelk. Look how cute. This little baby whelk. It's adorable. Juvenile fighting conch. So many of these duck clams, holy cow. Look at this shell pile, it goes all the way to the water and then it comes all the way up here. I'm itching to get over to this little tide pool to see what's in there. Maybe there's nothing, but I love tide pools. You never know what you're gonna find. Ooh, that would have been a really pretty orange one. True, lots of pieces. I feel like we're getting warmer on the true tulip. I can feel it. There's gotta be one in here somewhere. gosh, look at all the shells. Oh, look at this. Usually these are purple. I don't think I've ever found an orange one. Look how pretty. Wow. That's a first. Usually they are purple. Let's see. I know this is usually where you guys end up pointing out on camera a bunch of things that I miss. But that's part of the fun of it. That gives you guys a chance to come out and find the stuff that I missed. I'm sure there will be shellers that come out behind me, and that's part of the fun of it, guys. I'm telling you, everybody's always worried that people are gonna like find all the shells. Let me tell you, there's a million shells out here. And that's another thing, like you'll hear about somebody shelling and then they're like, yeah, the person next to me found this Junonia. It's like, you know, you think that you're shelling and then you miss something, or vice versa. You know, you think that you're shelling like behind somebody and you think that they found all the shells, but they miss stuff, you know? It's easy to miss stuff. I mean, there's plenty of shells to be found, so don't ever feel like you're late to the party or you're missing out. Come when you can. There's always going to be shells here to find. So here's this little tide pool. Let's start over here. See what we've got going on. I love tide pools. I think they're so fun. Let's see if we have anything going on. Another piece of a true. Somebody's going to find a big true tulip around here. A banded, getting closer. There's a pretty banded tulip. It's empty. And then what's this next to it right here? Oh, it's cloudy. I gotta be careful not to stir up the water. Got a little drill. And it looks like we've got a really pretty whelk. Look how pretty that whelk is. Got a little turbo right here. Pretty little turbo. We've got another whelk. That's why I love tide pools. I think they're so fun. Always make sure nobody's home in the tide pool, because this is where a lot of the time you'll find the live shells. Let's see, here is a piece of a whelk. I don't know if it'll be whole or not, but we're gonna see. It is whole, nobody's home. And then here is a little fighting conch, beautiful, empty. And this is also a place that you can, let me roll up my sleeve real quick. All right, here, it looks like a little gaudy. It's a little rough, a little beat up, but it's a gaudy nonetheless. See what else we've got down here. Got a little olive. And sometimes you can kind of sift your fingers through the sand a little bit, and if there's anything buried, like right, here's a little tulip again. If there's anything buried right on the surface, you'll be able to pull it up with your fingers. A little bit with my fingers. Let's see if I can find anything. Conch. This would have been a really pretty whelk. Look at the orange on that. Wow. that would have been beautiful. Let's come up here. You guys can see how high that poor turtle nest probably got washed out. You can see how high the rack line got and all of these shells that got washed up. We'll just check up here and see if we see anything fun up here. I always like to check the super high rack line just to see if there's anything. Sometimes some bigger shells will wash up. Like I was saying at Lighthouse, like here's a, you know, bigger piece of bigger pieces of whelks and such. Sometimes this is where you'll find some bigger shells, so always kind of check the. Oh, is this a really pretty scallop? Oh, I think it's broken. But yeah, I always check up here just to see. You never know. If there's nothing, there's nothing. But if there's something, you'll be glad you checked. Ooh, that would have been a really pretty piece of a really pretty whelk too. Oh, poor turtle nest. It's a shame. So crazy. Come back to our tide pool and see if we missed anything else on the other side here. Look at this big piece of whelk. Oh, that would have been pretty. See this little piece of a tool up here. Alright guys, they walked down even further. I'm not even sure how far down I am now, but there is this ginormous shell pile. So again, you know, the further down you walk, sometimes that's where you gotta go. I mean, I don't even know where we are. I don't even know. I'd have to like GPS or something, but we're somewhere on West Gulf, probably around the corner and down a little ways is Bones Beach, if I had to guess. And there's just this absolutely ginormous shell pile. You can see that person standing on top of it. And there's just shells for days. I mean, crazy amount of shells. Crazy shells. I mean, you could sit here and you could dig and you could, I mean, just an insane amount of shells here. Crazy. So, little whelk, olive. Orange scallop here. So just to give you guys an idea, I tell people, like, and I know it sounds like a broken record, but you have to go find the shells. Like, there's a cute, really pretty cone. You have to find the shells. Like, they might not be in front of your condo, right? Like, they might be in the middle of nowhere. Like, we are in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know where we are. You have to go find them. You have to go walk. Yes, it's work shelling. Like, people will tell you, they're out here for hours. Sometimes you're walking for hours, and then you're shelling for hours. And that's why when people sell shells, people are like, why are they so expensive? It's because it took them hours to find them, and then it took them hours to clean them. Like, it's work finding these shells, and it's fun, but it's not always easy. You gotta find them. Like this one's really pretty, right? But you know what? There's a critter in there. There's a little animal in there, so we'll toss him back, and always gotta check. But there are just so many shells here. I mean, here's a whelk, another whelk, honk. So many. Tulip. Big piece of the angel wing here. It's a really pretty whelk. And this shell pile is so big. Look at this crazy shell pile. Orange up here. Oh, I think it's broken. But I mean, this is like, you could dig in here all day. I mean, you can dig to the bottom of this thing. Honk. Honk. Gosh. Look at these that I just picked up. There's a really cool banded tulip, and then right to the right of that is a little baby horse conch. We've got a juvenile fighting conch, a really bright orange jingle shell, a pretty dark apple murex, and then we've got a little whelk, a really shiny olive. We've got a little pretty orange turbo, a fun worm shell, and then the scallop's actually flipped over, and I hope you guys can see it's got this really pretty iridescent purple on the inside. It's just so pretty. It's a nice little collection there. I dumped these in my shell bag really quick. And this shell pile is just absolutely amazing. I just can't even believe. I mean, I could be here all day digging through, so we're just gonna kind of take a peek to see what else we can find. Those were all just sitting on top, kind of like this. There's a little juvenile fighting conch again. It's a little whelk. I don't have a claw with me, but if I did, you know, I would probably, oh, here's a really pretty buttercup too. I would probably kind of dig through some of these to see like kind of what's underneath, but most of the time you can just kind of look right on top and see what kind of catches your eye. This little broken blood. So things that I always look for, of course, are color. So anything orange, anything bright pink. A really pretty scallop. Any type of pattern. So I see a little swirl of this cute whelk right here. Little juvenile fighting conch. Any type of color, any type of pattern, and then of course you can look for texture too. Here's a piece of a horse conch here. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this super fun special episode shelling after Tropical Storm Sally. I hope you guys all have a shell-tastic week, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.